Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always. And in this video, we're going to be covering this new Christopher Ward X, talking about everything that you need to know about this model, and also the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's things that I love about this watch, but there's also things that don't make sense to me, a bit like the price. Before we move on, guys, I will stop drinking my tea. If you guys enjoy these videos, please hit that subscribe button to help me out. Honestly, your support means the world, and if you could hit that subscribe button right now, I would love you forever. I'm going to say it. Let's begin with the specs on this new model. So it comes in at 41mm and 12.3mm in height. And actually, for the movement that's in this model, and for having 120 hours of power, you heard me, 120 hours, that is pretty damn impressive. I mean, we've seen much more established brands that haven't been going or have been going a lot longer than Christopher Ward have, still can't get their thickness right, and Christopher Ward have here. So, well done. Now, comparatively to the original Christopher Ward 12, it does come in 1mm bigger at 41 instead of 40, and also about 2mm thicker at 12.3mm in thickness instead of 9.95, I believe it is. Damn, my memory's fantastic. This model also has a lug-to-lug of 46.3mm in diameter, and also you have a variation of two different straps, or a bracelet and a strap. You either have a rubber strap or a bracelet. The bracelet is what I had in the studio, I got on the wrist, and it does wear pretty damn nicely. However, I need to say that I do prefer the sizing of the original 12. And on that note, I have the original 12. Give me 2 seconds. So this is the original 12 in Glacier Blue. This is a model that Christopher Ward actually sent out to me. And it's a model that I was very impressed by. I was impressed that a brand that's only 20 years old, 20 years old, that is very young in this industry, are kind of nailing it. But there obviously is things that I don't think they nailed, like the price point. Now seems good a time as any, seeing as I've just put this new watch on. This is what's on my wrist today. It's time for the wrist check. What is on your wrist today? Please let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you've got a Christopher Ward on. Also, we've just released our new travel journal. This is actually my design, and I worked very hard on it. So if you guys want to take a look at it, see what the travel journal is used for, what I use it for normally when I'm on the road, then click the link below. This model comes in at a staggering £4,120 with the bracelet. Now, yes, I get it. There have been upgrades. There have been finishing details. There has been in-house new movement, which we'll move on to in a second, put in this model. But that's a huge jump. I mean, they've gone from the previous titanium 12, which comes in at around about the 1,500 mark, and they've added pretty much $3,000 to that. I mean, I know that it should be more expensive, but that seems like a lot to me. With that said, that is just my opinion, and I did spot something that could potentially be me just being a watch nerd, or potentially is true, potentially is what CW are actually doing. As soon as Bremont rebranded into being more of a Swiss brand, CW's prices went for the new model. Is that coincidence? I just wanted to cap that really quickly. I really love the Christopher Ward brand. I love what they're doing. I love the fact they're British. I have a great relationship with Christopher Ward. In fact, we're actually having Mike, one of the brand directors, on the Into Mind podcast in the next couple of weeks. Guys, I think I made a little mistake there. Mike France is actually the CEO and co-founder of Christopher Ward. I think I said he was a director, but he's the big deal. He's the man, he's the boss. But it's just the price thing for me. I just can't get my head around this. And I know that there's been upgrades, but that seems like a lot. I mean, to me, Christopher Ward is meant to be your entry level or entry-ish level luxury brand. $4,000 ain't entry. The case and the bracelet on this model has a combination of grade 5 and grade 2 titanium. And if you look really, really closely, and I mean really, really closely, you can see the difference. And yeah, that finishing detail, those finishes in titanium do cost more money. And I understand and appreciate that these things cost more money. But listen, I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys know what I'm going to say. The dial on this model showcases their new in-house movement, and we'll go on to that in just a second. I love skeletonized dials, and I know that they're a love or hate for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, but I love them. It's almost like having a Ferrari and you can see into the engine of your Ferrari. You know exactly what's powering it. You know exactly what's making it tick. You can see the beating heart of your watch. And that, to me, that's super cool. However, on the flip side, you could argue that it's maybe not as practical because it's not as visible. You can't see it as well. I like it though. On that note, fun fact, my first ever watch was a skeleton watch. It was an Oris Artillaire skeleton watch, and I've always had an infatuation with seeing into things, and that's the inner watch enthusiast, watch nerd, maybe photographer, videographer kind of vibe coming through. I just love knowing how things fit together and they tick. With that said, I could never actually do the fitting together. This is the first ever 12 model to feature the brand new in-house movement from CW, which is the SH21. Now, in-house as a term in the watch industry is definitely thrown around. People sometimes slap a rotor on a totally separate movement and say that it's in-house even though it's not. The answer for this movement is I don't know. I can't look it up because I did get this watch pre-embargo lifting, so I can't do my research properly on the movement. So if any of you guys know, just let me know in the comments. I'm sure that it actually is in-house at this price point. It should be. On the subjects of movements, and you guys might have known that I have major ADHD, so my brain takes me these places. Glasuity Original as a brand produces all its movements 95% in-house. 95%. That is unbelievable for a brand. And I think that when a brand says that it has an in-house movement, and that's kind of how it should be. I mean, it shouldn't be, oh, we have an in-house movement, but it's only 60% in-house. It should be up in the 90s. Now, the SH21 is a pretty beautiful movement to look at. It has a twin barrel design, and this gives it 120 hours of power. Now, of course, this is skeletonized, so you can see right into those barrels winding and unwinding through the front of the watch. And this happens throughout the day or throughout the days as your power is draining or you're winding it so that you're powering it up. This movement vibrates at 28,800 VPH and has a timing tolerance of -4 to +6 seconds a day. To top that all off, and this is the kind of I say nail in the coffin, but nail in the coffin has bad connotations. This is the nail in the coffin, but in a good way. The movement is actually COSC certified. That's pretty great. That is pretty brilliant. But again, for the $4,000 mark, you're looking at a Tudor, and a Tudor is METAS certified now. This watch is water resistant to 100 meters. And just to summarize, to cap, I think this is a brilliant watch from a great damn brand. I really, really enjoy what Christopher Ward are doing, and I love how young they are, how innovative they are, and just kind of the general direction that they're taking the brand in. And I can understand that producing movements in Britain, British-made movements, will cost more than manufacturing it in Switzerland with a mass-produced movement. So I kind of understand the price increase, but this seems quite dramatic to me. And I know that my word is kind of invalid in the industry. I'm just some random enthusiast. But I would like to know your thoughts on this matter. I really like the brand. I really like this watch. I'm just hesitant of the price. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this review, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps more than you know. Or follow us on Instagram at Chisholm Hunter Watches. Remember that we have our own in-house podcast just for me, not about watches, and it's called the Into the Mind podcast. That's the Into the Mind podcast. Thank you guys so much, and I'll be back. I'm actually filming today, so I'll be back in an hour.